Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2017 Sauber career mode. We're in season 4 at round 5, the Catalonia circuit near Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix. Qualifying is about to begin and you can see outside the window it is heavy rain. At least for this first part of qualifying, it may dry up as the sessions go on. A race as well is due to, I believe, start in either intermediate or heavy rain and then potentially dry up towards the end as well. I like the rain, I like the circuit, so we could be on for a very good result. First thing we'll do then, we'll listen to the voicemail to see what our qualifying objective is going to be. And that is 8th place and beat Magnussen. I think it's a very strong possibility as long as it stays wet towards the end of the session, because I do like the changeable conditions. As for the laptop then, we're currently up to 378 resource points, but I don't think we'll be able to do any upgrades after this race. We're just 1 point away now from seeing Magnussen off in this rivalry. As for upgrades, of course, we've got this one here, this major one, if I can get to it here, coming in next week at Monaco, which is the intercooler power. And we've also got 2 here that need to be done again, which are guarantees, and they're a total of 750 resource points. I don't think we'll be able to get it after this event, but we should be able to do it after Monaco as well. Progress history as well, coming into the last race, both McLaren and Renault have improved, and Force India as well. So every little game we're doing, Renault seem to be sticking with us for the moment, but I'm sure as the season goes on we will start to bridge that gap to the bottom half of the table and start to close in on Force India. As for the vehicle management, we're now on to the second units for a majority of these things, but I'm still on the first unit for the energy store. It's only at 47%. And the electronics is now at 50. I'm going to run these for the race, might as well. And you can see I'm on to the second unit for everything else, which I ran in FP3. Only 1 and 2% on that. So to be honest, I may very well just change for qualifying and the race onto this one here. And as you can see, the overall rare is now just 1%. Gearbox, however, is up to 50%. And this is our 4th race. This will be our 5th race as well. So we've got a potential of potentially having problems in either this race or not here, certainly Monaco next week. But enough about that then. We'll get to qualifying then. We should be able to comfortably get through Q1 unless we make a bit of a balls up of it. So yeah, it should be interesting on the wet conditions, and it'll be interesting to see where our pace is as well, because it hasn't been wet in the practice sessions as well, and if we're very quick in qualifying we should be quick in the race. So we'll go to Q1 and hopefully we can get through with no dramas. So we've successfully made it through to Q2 in the 9th place, but we're 2.5 seconds off Vettel, so our pace isn't as good as we first expected, but no need to worry. At least we're on the pace of where we normally would be anyway, which is all I ask for, and we can focus on improving Q2 and potentially Q3 as well. So scrolling down then, Alonso's done well to get 13th, so it's massive. It's the first one to be eliminated in 16th, and he's followed in the drop zone by Van Dorn, Palmer, Stroll and Pascal Wehrlein at the back of the grid yet again. So we'll go through to Q2 then. Not too sure what it was going to be. I believe it is going to start drying up at some point, and it might happen halfway through Q2, which will be very interesting for tyre strategy and when we go out on track. But hopefully, if we can keep it clean and improve our lap times, we should be able to get through to the top 10 shootout. So by the skin of my teeth, I've managed to make it through. I left it a bit late in this session. I only went out with a few minutes left, which meant I only had time to do 1 lap. So the pressure was on, and we've just managed to squeeze into the top 10. And we're going to be joined there by both Ferraris, both Mercedes, the Force India of Perez, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Sainz and Ocon. So there's a few big names that are being eliminated. Alonso in 12th, Ricciardo down in 12th, then Kvyat, Grosjean and Magnussen in 15th. So then top 10 shootout, you can see we're now on the inters instead of wets. It may dry up towards the end, and again strategy will come down to it, but if it does stay wet then it will give us a free choice of what tyres we would have started on in the race, but I believe that's going to be intermediate start as well. So it's all to play for. We just got to get used to the conditions, so hopefully we can nail a couple of good laps and creep up the order. So that's a surprising front row. I don't think I would have expected that. Perez and Verstappen. And we have ended up in 6th place. Most of the big guys went out fairly early on, just as the rain had subsided, but the track conditions still weren't perfect, and a few of us left it to the very few seconds. I actually crossed the line to start my flying lap literally with 1 second to spare, so I'm very happy with 6th place, 3.5 tenths off of the Force India. So it's a bit of an interesting top 10 there. Bottas and Vettel in 7th and 8th, Hamilton's in 4th, but congratulations to Perez and Force India. I believe that's their first podium in my career mode, and the race will be wet from the start, and we're doing it in 6th place, so a lot to look forward to. So the resource points for qualifying, hopefully this will be the 105 I think we get. Oh, 100. What did we miss out on? Expected position 10th, overachieved by 4, but we didn't get the full 50 points. But never mind, let's have 100 anyway. 498 in total. The Ravi update, of course, we have now smashed that 30 to 14. And the reputation level continues to rise. In fact, Williams are now the 5th team to hit 100%. And it would be nice if I could get them all to 100% before the end of the season. That means we'd have done something right. So we'll listen to the voicemail down for the race. You can see outside that it is raining, but not as heavy as it was for the beginning of qualifying. And that race objective is to finish in 8th place and remain in at least 11th in the championship, which should be pretty doable. So yeah, we'll go to the track then. I'm not going to change any parts of the car, and we'll have a look at the race strategy, the grid order, and then get ready for the 5th round of the season. Here we are then on the grid in 10th place. Palmer has a grid penalty which has promoted Verline to 19th, but nothing has changed around us. You would have noticed that it was silent, no commentary during the grid presentation there. That's because I've been looking back at the last few videos, and in fact it's been doing it since the beginning of the career mode, where the audio's been kicking in. It sounds a bit distorted, and I don't really want that anymore. So from now on, all the and it would have been the same for the agent as well, giving me the qualifying and the race objectives. You notice I've turned that off as well, just so we don't get that distortion in the background. But enough about that. Let's have a look at the race. Right, the first half is going to be intermediates. The second half is going to be dries. So it could be very similar to the career mode race we did in season 3, where it started off as wet, and then we went onto the dry tyres. We went onto the hards and made it stick for, I believe, 4th place, whilst a few other guys had to go for a 2-stop strategy with the dry tyres after the rain. So it'll be interesting to see when this rain disappears and at what time we're going to have to put on the dry tyres, because we've got all choices available to us. As for fuel, we'll bump it up to 36, I think. That all sounds quite nice. Leave the car set up as it is, because we're fairly competitive. We're 6th quickest in Q3 anyway. Yeah, so obviously if it was intermediates, for it would be at least doing a 2-stop. 10 laps it's saying we can get maybe even 11 or even 12 out of the intermediates, but we probably have to look after the tyres quite a bit. We may have to make another pit stop onto the intermediates, but we'll see how the race goes. So then we'll get the formation lap out of the way and then get the 5th round of this season on the go. So then here we are on the grid. Lights coming on now. Intermediate start. It's going to be tricky in the first few corners. Lights out and away we go now. Not a bad start. A little bit of wheel spin through the gears nicely. We'll stick on the back of Hamilton's Mercedes, but Bottas and Vettel are obviously going to jump us into turn 1. We'll hold the inside line. Brake as late as we dare. We're on the outside of Bottas now. Can we get back that 6th place? Oh, Ocon's dancing a little bit with Hamilton. So far so good. We maintain the 6th place for now. Back end very loose. Oh, I've got a good exit over Ocon here at turn 5. That'll be safely through to 5th. So completing lap 1, Perez still leads. But we've lost a little bit of time to Hamilton coming out of the chicane, but we're not going to be under attack from Ocon behind. So we've got to calm down a little bit and focus on catching these guys ahead. Verstappen defends the inside line. We're going to drive right round his outside. That was a great move. On to 4th now. Let's try and catch up to Hamilton, because he's probably going to be the quickest car out here. So at the final corner to start lap 7. I'm losing touch of the top 3, but I've managed to keep Verstappen and Bottas behind by around about 2 seconds. Tyre wear is at 33% on the rear left, which is a bit worrying, because Jeff came across the radio about a minute ago and said there's at least 10 more minutes of rain before it starts to clear up, and in my experience it can clear up within a lap or 5 laps. So I think there's a possibility I may have to pit for another set of intermediates, but I might wait to see what everyone else does first. So at the final corner to start lap 10. Slowly starting to creep up on the guys ahead of us. Hamilton's now only 2.4 ahead, and I've dropped Verstappen completely, 4.7 seconds. Pit window is now open, but I'll be expecting it to start drying off soon. There's blue sky already, but it is still raining. So it's going to get really tricky here. So if I get this wrong, we could be tumbling positions. Well, I'm taking a risk. I'm pitting. Jeff's just turned around and said it's 10 minutes until it dries up. Please don't speed into the pits. So we're coming back in for another set of intermediate tyres. We're going to tumble down the order here, but hopefully I've got this right. Yeah, other guys behind. Bottas is pitting as well, so I think we might have just nailed this with a fresh set of tyres. So coming back out then, I bumped it into a rich mix already. We're going to come back into a lot of traffic here. Right, in 10th behind Hulkenberg. It's crucial now that I get past some of these guys quickly. Try and undercut the leaders, because we was right with them before we pitted. It's Hulkenberg done. He tried to defend, but I went for it anyway. Back up to 9th. Next target is local boy Alonso. So at the final corner, the three leaders are in the pits. They're all coming out together. Oh, I think they're going to stay ahead. Yeah, they've all managed to stay ahead. That's a shame. We tried. Oh, I've wrecked myself quite badly there. Dance over the curb a little bit there. Oh, now we're on the outside the sides. Come on, we've got better grip. These tyres are knackered. We've already done Raikkonen, and that's kind of crucial. That would have been for position. And now we have seen Sainz off. So we've managed to gain a position over Raikkonen. Puts us in a net 3rd place. So the rain is due to... Oh, fastest lap. That's nice. And it's immediately be beaten by Raikkonen. Cheers, mate. Jeff's just come over the radio. Lap 14 of 33 to say that the track will start to dry out soon, although it is still raining. We're running rich mix at the moment because we're not going to be on these inters for that long anyway, and I'm trying my best to close the gap to Perez and Hamilton. Perez, meanwhile, still in the lead of this race. So as long as this goes on, we might be able to do the old inters onto the hard strategy that we did last season as well, and that puts us in a very good position, because I don't think these guys will do it either. But for the moment, we've got to hold on to this 3rd place. So I've already made the preemptive decision to go onto the hard tyres. We're now almost at half distance. Oh, that was a mistake over the curb. But Perez and Hamilton are losing time here, and I've managed to catch them. And I'm dragging Raikkonen along with me as well. So the top 4 here separated by probably 2 seconds. And then just behind him is Bottas in 5th as well. So this is going to be a right old tussle now for the next few laps as the track starts to dry. Oh, we're right with these guys now, and Hamilton's made a mistake in the chicane, and we'll nip through into 2nd place. If we get past Perez down into turn 1, that'd be amazing. So into lap 17, gaining on Perez all the time. Not close enough this lap. Well, bad luck for Raikkonen. He's in 4th place, but he's got an engine problem, so he might start dropping back now. Makes our life just a little easier. Oh, Hamilton's got a mechanical problem as well now, so he's going to start dropping back. So some of the big boys here have got issues at the moment. At the final corner to start lap 19, I think this will be the lap we're pitting. These intermediates are starting to burn up now. I'm approaching the pit window anyway, hard tyres, but I might be tempted to go mediums. So here we go then, we're into the pits. Most of the guys are as well. Hamilton and the Red Bull have carried on. Perez has gone hards, we're going hards as well, just to make sure we can get to the end. It'll be crucial now to see where we rejoin. We should have clear track. And managed to stay ahead of Bottas as well, who's gone hard tyres. So we're out in 4th, and we've got 2 drivers yet to make a pit stop. So Hamilton and the Red Bull are in the pits. And we're now back up into second place, but we're 6 seconds behind Perez, and Bottas is catching us really quickly as well. So still all to play for them. Another podium on the cards. It's coming to lap 24 then. Raikkonen's back up to pace, and he's managed to get past Bottas, so it's second, third and fourth now. Meanwhile, Perez continues to pull away, and he's odds on to take this victory. Oh yeah, the flags are out in the section I'm in. Not too sure who that is. Oh, it's Raikkonen. Raikkonen's out of the race then. That eases a bit of pressure on us. Into lap 30. Bottas and Verstappen still there in the background. That's Vettel as well, who keeps setting faster. Every lap he's going faster and faster. So this will be a four-way scrap soon for second, third, fourth and fifth. And I believe the car ahead of me is my own teammate, so I need to catch him, lap him, and hopefully he holds everyone up behind me. I need to catch him in a good place. On the Verline. So at the final corner, into the final lap, 0.28 worth of fuel, so that is enough. I don't think Verstappen is close enough, so really he'll have one more chance to attack us towards the end of a lap, and that'll be it. That was it. That was the last chance he really had, and he wasn't close enough. I think Perez is seconds away from winning his and Force India's first race. There it is, race winner Perez. Unbelievable drive from him. Got enough fuel, a few corners to go, and it'll be our third podium in as many races. We've had a third, we've had a first, and now it's a second. 18 points, great drive, fully deserved that. So there we go. Sergio Perez not only takes pole position, but he also wins the race. Truly fantastic. He was on form today. No chance we were going to catch him in the second half of the race. 18.4 seconds we finished behind. With second place, another 18 points, and it's going to push us further to the top of the driver standings. And Verstappen's Red Bull completes the podium. So Force India Sauber Red Bull podium. That is something that doesn't happen very often. Bottas recovered well to fourth place. Vettel after his instant fifth. Hamilton had engine problems and was down in sixth. And then it's Ricciardo in 7th. Alonso's done well from 11th to get 8th. Well done to him. Massa from 16th to 9th. Well done to him. And Ocon completes the final point. Further down, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Kvyat, Van Dorn, Palmer, Magnussen was a lap down in 16th, as was Stroll and Verline at the back of the field. Raikkonen was a late retirement, and Grosjean retired in the early lap. So we'll have a look at the standings then, see what's changed. We're now 7 points away from the top of the standings, tied with Perez, and Vettel has taken the lead. We've all jumped Raikkonen due to his retirement, so we're currently sitting in second place in the standings. That's the highest we've ever been. 7 points away from Vettel and tied with Perez. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Other movers, Bottas is up to 7th, and Sainz is up to 11th actually, by having better race finishes over Hulkenberg, and Alonso is now tied with him as well on 5 points. Massa on 4 and Magnussen on 1. So 5 drivers yet to score: Grosjean, Kvyat, Verline, Van Dorn and Lance Stroll. Into the constructors, Ferrari maintained their very healthy lead, 158 points, 67 over Force India, who are now in second place, largely thanks to Perez's achievements so far this season. Pushing Mercedes down to 3rd, we're 10 points behind in 4th, and 8 points ahead of Red Bull in 5th. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Renault in 6th on 11 points. Toro Rosso, McLaren tied for 7th on 5. Williams up to 4 points but stay in 9th place, and Haas at the back on just 1 point. So the resource points, this will be interesting to see if we can hit the target of 750. I don't think we will. 618, very strong race though, gained 4 positions over qualifying, brings up to 618. And the resource points for the first drive bonus as well, is a total of 57. The reputation is now 100% with Red Bull, and it's crept quite nicely up with the other 3 teams that are yet at the top as well. The career score as well will probably be very healthy for the practice and the race. No flashbacks, of course, penalty free, team modifier for Sauber, and the difficulty as well. It does take us over 10,000. 39300 for the season so far. We don't have a classic car event. I don't think we'll get any more now because we have completed it. The ultimate upgrade package is now here. A trophy has been added, which is nice. There we go. First in Bahrain, third in Russia, and now second in Spain. 3 podiums already this season, and we're only done 5 races, so very happy with that. So we'll have a look at the resources then. There's not much we can do. I want to hold on to be able to afford both of these, and as you can see there, the ultimate upgrade still costs 1200 but only take 3 weeks. This will come in next week, and if it has passed, then we will almost certainly will have enough resource points. 750 we need to get these 2 done. So once all these are done, we'll then be able to move on to the aero as well, and if we were to afford this right now, we'd probably jump to the top of the powertrain, but I want to get them both done at the same time because they're guarantees. Another thing I want to look at as well is this, the first driver bonus. 59 out of 60 races completed. So after Monaco, we will have the 15% bonus as well, which will be another probably 20 to 25 resource points that we'll get with the driver bonus after every weekend, which, you know, every little helps, and it will certainly go a long way to getting the aero improved as well, because we are massively behind on that. The chassis, of course, we are still ahead of that, although the other teams are starting to creep up on us, but we have 3 ultimate upgrades that can go on the car at any time. So yeah, very happy with how it's all gone then this race. Perez, well done to him for claiming his first win, but more importantly, well done to us for rising from 6th place to 2nd in the end, putting off the onslaught from Verstappen in the final few races, and it's looking like a very profitable season so far. Remember, the second half of the season were a lot stronger, traditionally a lot stronger than the first half, and we're already right in that title fight so far. So if things keep going the way they are, we may very well be in a title fight come the end of the season. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope to see you for the next one very soon.